Hey everyone, how's it going? You're back with Citywide Blackout, your home for music, movies, and more. I'm your host, Max Bowen. For this episode, I welcome back singer-songwriter Stephanie Mathias, along with fellow musician Jarreau Williams, to talk about their new single, Starting Over. The song speaks to how universal it is to start over after tragedy strikes, and we talk about how this applies to both Stephanie and Jarreau. The two go in-depth on the process of working together, and their past collaborations, including the music video for Stephanie's Hero Side. And speaking of which, Starting Over has a music video of its own, set to drop November 12th. I highly recommend checking it out because I know it's going to be amazing. But I've talked enough, so kick back, relax, and enjoy. Well, folks, this is a very, very special episode because I get to welcome back the one and only Stephanie Mathias. She has a brand new single out, and joining us is her co-writer for the song, Jarreau Williams. Jarreau, Stephanie, welcome. It is so cool to have you both here.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
But before we get into everything else, there's a whole lot to talk about, but we want to, of course, celebrate, of course, joining us as the extra special guest is little baby Ezra.
Here he is. Yeah, so disclaimer for your listeners, if you hear any random baby sounds, that is our special guest. But so far he's sleeping, so we're just going to hope that he's safe.
Exactly. All right. So let us dive into the big news, the recent release of the new single Starting Over, which I listened to multiple times and thoroughly enjoyed it. And the music video to follow on November 12th. I want to start by asking what the response to this song has been since it was released back in the beginning of the month.
It's been very positive. I think the biggest thing, which was, kind of one of those happy accidents, was that we released the song during, Pregnancy Loss Month. So, definitely an ode to all the mothers of angel babies and rainbow babies, especially because that's essentially what this song was stemmed from. So to see the response from a lot of mothers out there, in addition to, people who have added it to playlists that are, like positive, uplifting playlists to kind of help people get through their day, or, just to give them that extra boost of energy, is all me personally I could ever ask for, when you're putting out a song. So yeah, the response has been very positive, and I'm very much looking forward to people seeing the video, and then taking it the next step further. So I'll let Stephanie, give her take as well.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you said that. That was basically what I was going to say, is like, it was cool to see the response from the pregnancy after loss. They were at like an influence account place, magazine and platform that responded really well to our song, and it's cool that like we were able to connect with that community with the song, and that's it was like a direct connection with other moms who are going through what I've been going through, and and their versions of it, because every experience is different in terms of pregnancy loss. And so so that was exciting, and it also was exciting to be able to raise awareness about this, and have a music as a really easy way to talk about this topic, because it's like, for me, it was something that happened nearly a year ago, the miscarriage, and but the healing from it is taking a long time. It's definitely a lot easier to heal with a new baby in my arms, and but I'm glad that I also had this song and this way to continue that, and to do it more than just when it happened. And this song's been working on it. We've been working on it and promoting it for almost as long as I've been pregnant, no longer. So it's been good. Like, it's been very therapeutic for me. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I get to use it, and so the response that we're excited about is the connection that we've made to other moms that have lost. lost babies. So.
Okay. Jarreau, now I understand that you were the one who first presented Stephanie with the lyrics to the song. Tell me how you sort of came up with the concept for this.
Yeah, so during the pandemic, I was just trying to find ways to kind of keep myself motivated, but then kind of take songwriting to the next level. I mean, I write my own, music for my own songs. But I knew that one way that I was going to be able to heal was that if I could help others heal in the process. And so when, Stephanie had her miscarriage, in that moment, especially for me as from the male perspective, it's really hard to find a way to show support other than saying like, hey, I'm sorry that you've had to endure this, but just know like, I'm here for you. And just by talking with her and just seeing how open she was about the situation, and starting over and trying again was something that she talked a lot about during that process. So it really inspired me to just write those words and then go from there. And it was a complete surprise to her. She had no idea I was doing this, and because I just wanted to, that was my way of showing solidarity in some form or fashion. I said, however you come out of this situation, if you want to, feel free to use these lyrics however you want. And when I sent it to her, she was just immediately, in love with it. And we agreed kind of like right then and there that we wanted to do something and make a song of it. And I ended up leaving the second verse wide open for her to put her feelings and her emotions there. So she did have a full connection to it, and it wasn't just on the outside looking in.
Yep.
And Stephanie, your reaction when you first read the lyrics.
Yeah, well, not only he didn't send me just lyrics, he actually had the melody going too. And so yeah, he like sent me a little audio clip, and it was a week after the miscarriage. I mean, you were fast, Jarreau. He was on it, and so I was quite touched, and everything was still very, very painful and fresh for me. And I and what I loved was when I wrote the second verse, it was completely different rhythm and melody. I just sort of kind of wrote whatever I was feeling because I was still feeling upset, and he's like, yeah, let's just use it. Let's leave it how it is and just make it work in the song. and I was like, dude, that took some real skill on his side and the producer's side, and um so that was really awesome. But yeah, no, really, I was just quite touched, and I also loved that, like I said, that it was a way for me to connect and to express that challenge that was going through, because and the cool part of it, also another great part of it, was at the time the loss was so fresh. I mean, it was, I didn't know I was going to get pregnant again. I mean, I obviously hoped so. But then as we were writing the song, I got pregnant again, with Ezra. And like, so during the production, and I was pregnant with him, and during the shooting the video, I was like 8 months pregnant. like and now that we're going to release it, he was born just 5 days after we released the song. And so like the song took on a new meaning, because it really is like starting over. Because in Jarreau's case, he didn't know, we didn't know what the result, was going to be. Maybe I'd have to start over in a different way. Maybe I wasn't going to be pregnant again, like, but still start over in life and overcome the challenge. But in this case, it's a beautiful, beautiful story that, we have baby Ezra here, and as part of that, journey. And it's it's very, very special. So it was great. It's a way to tell that story in the song. So
Mm-hmm. I definitely got the emotion from you in terms of like what you were feeling and what you were like going through in the lyrics. Did you wind up going back and making any changes, or was it more like, okay, this is what I wrote, we're sticking with it?
that was it. Yep, it was
Really?
a one take.
Yeah, that really was what it was, and it needed that, and that was that was the cool thing, like what she was saying, how I kind of put my interpretation of what I felt like someone who needed to be supportive of her would say, and then for her to fill in how she was actually feeling gave the song the dynamic that it really needed. Because if you're writing, a lot of times we're writing by ourselves and we kind of have our own set structure of how we'll put something down, so it's always great to get an outside view. And with this being so personal, I knew that's what the song needed. Like it needed to go to that place, because that's the human condition. We needed that. And so I'm glad that she went there. And I think I encouraged her to go there. I was like, I want you to put that pain on the page and really see what that's like and feel what that's like. And whatever you put down, like, let's go with it, and let's see how we put it down musically. And I think it really did suit well, and so it's something that she can always connect to, and any person who's been through this ordeal on either side of the spectrum can draw from that.
Now, Stephanie, you have been very upfront in talking about this. After it happened, you were very open about the experience on your socials. But did writing a song about it help you to kind of express more of what you went through?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's some things that only music can do. And I mean, it was cool because the last time that I was on the show, you know, I my song that I released earlier this year, Blue Diamond Light, was doing that for me too. You know, and so yeah, there's just something really special about singing and expressing, and like I said, it just gives me a good a medium, something that I can share. Like, and also the song has a very hopeful tone to it. Um, and so I like to be a positive person, even though I'm very real about struggles that I go through. Um, but I always want to leave hope for people, and because I want to feel it myself, obviously too. Um, so so I love. It's just such a perfect song to that can share both. That can share both the understanding, connection with people, connection with myself. It gave like Jarreau said, it gave me a place to express that feeling, like when I was like, how do I start over? Like, there's no going back. This is really hard, and I'm in a lot of pain, and I just literally just kind of said that, and that might have been the first time that I said those words, you know, writing those lyrics. So yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and hearing her recorded in the studio too it was a different feeling for me. It really gave the song the life that, obviously when we were rehearsing it and we were putting it down, together, that's one thing. But then when it was really time for us to go in and really put a final mix down, that's when I could really hear the vulnerability in her voice. And I specifically asked in the mix to bring that up. I
Yeah.
wanted to hear more of her in the mix. Because like I said, my vocals sometimes can be like very powerful, but also yet like smooth at the same time. But at first, when we were doing the track, it was sort of dominating, and I was like, but this is our story, and it's more so hers than mine. So, when we talked with our producer, I really wanted Stephanie's voice to be a bit more prominent in the mix, and you hear that as the track evolves, because it is her story. It is based on her, and like I said, it was really chilling for me to see her now try to vocalize everything she had been going through, and I could feel like she was trying to figure out what that was, but it was just so graceful, and it was just so like light, but yet you could feel all the emotion in it. And again, everything I could have asked for.
Oh, I mean, I love I'm so honored hearing Jarreau say that, because I'm actually probably Jarreau's biggest fan, or one of them at least. Because not only is he an incredible writer, but he's, um, he's got a golden voice, and I loved it. I kept saying, "Oh yeah, just put me more in the background." Jarreau's voice is so beautiful. And
You
Jerome
don't get
really,
over on this song.
so it was like it's cool like to have a friend who's talented, and I know I'm talented. I'm not like bragging or anything, but like I'm not going to diminish my own talent, but just having someone that's incredibly talented but that appreciates your own talent and working like that, and is really is such an honor. And like and you've heard the song, so you know how wonderful Jarreau's voice is, and it really adds that like that positivity and that good vibe, that, like I said, as an optimist, that I really wanted to convey, right? So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, Jerome, man, your lyrics are amazing. Like, I'm curious
Yeah.
how long you've been doing music for.
Oh man, most a long time. But I actually I got really serious about wanting to write and kind of release my own music shortly after college. So that was about 2010. So it's been roughly about a decade that I started writing and just kind of putting words to the page. And then it wasn't until 2014 that I had released my first single. And then, in the time since then, I've just really been kind of having this all in approach to, just wanting to
You released your first single the year I released my first single.
see this is
Crazy.
why it's fate. That's why it was fate.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go on,
But
you go.
yeah, I have been singing really since I was probably about like 6 or 7, just doing choir in high school. I mean, in high school, Lord, high school was a 7-year-old. Does not even get into that. But doing in elementary school choir, and then all the way through high school musicals, things like that. But yeah, since like 2014 when I started releasing music, that's when I really was focusing more on songwriting and wanting to kind of take lyrics to the next level and just wanting to put my voice out there. But recently I've found a joy in writing for other people too, and not even just for the job of it, more so just for the exercise and just being able to tap into somebody's emotions and somebody's story. It kind of helps me to be a little bit more diverse in my writing. So yeah, I love it, and I love that this albeit we made tragedy into triumph with this song. Just taking a moment that would seem like a very down moment that you wouldn't share about, and making it into the kind of like this anthem of sorts that people can be encouraged from.
Hmm. Now, Stephanie, I believe you mentioned that you wanted this song to have a more like hopeful tone to it, not being such like not just being about the loss, but being about like what comes next. My question to you is, and also to you, Jarreau, in getting the responses from people, did you find that they also had that same vibe that they said it made them feel kind of hopeful about things?
Oh, Jerome, why don't you go first on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because from to kind of give a little back story about me, it related to me in a sense of um, I've always had issues with body image, and kind of like how I'm perceived on the outside and things like that. And it's always like that whole thing, like you never know how great you can be until you start. So it's like just walking every day or just doing the little things, more water over soda, those kind of things. But also because I was huge into sports too, and I played a lot of sports growing up. And then I had some injuries, and because of that, I just wasn't as physically active anymore. So starting over kind of was kind of my resurgence in a way to give me a little bit more of a hopeful tone in my own life. And I found that there were a lot of people who were people messaged us, like direct messaged us online, talking about their experiences dealing with a divorce, or dealing with moving to a new city, and all those kind of things, and what happens with that. And so just being hopeful that things are going to work out in the later term, those were really encouraging things to hear. it's especially from people that we've known for a very long time and didn't even know those things about them. So again, just the fact that music can do that, and music can bring that out, to me, that was definitely something special. So yeah, we've definitely heard a lot of hopeful feedback,
That's
which is
true.
great.
I remember someone did reach out and said, "Yeah, this is how I'm starting over," and and also, like I said, with when we did that interview for the pregnancy after loss channel, we I she really was inspired by our positivity. We could tell that she appreciated that, so that was cool as well.
Hmm. Stephanie, I'm curious how you maintained your hope going through all this, especially when it came to just dealing with the loss.
Yeah. Well, I definitely attribute that to my faith in God, and because I know that I think, but also because I've gone through really hard things in life. My mom died when I was a teenager, and and having anxiety disorder, and having been depressed before a few times, and I mean, we all have our own trials, but those were mine. And so having gone through those things, and having overcome them in life, and seeing the way that my life has progressed and improved over the years, and being grateful to God for that, has um made makes it easier when I go through another trial, to just know that, okay, God got me through this, and he's going to got me through those things, he's going to get me through this too. And so that was, I think that's that's what I really attribute it to. Also, um you know the things that I've learned, you know and I thank God for that also, that um that he's led me to learn things about myself, learn what helps me feel better, in terms of mental health, in terms of what to talk to. It's okay to be open, and to know who to talk to, and know where I can turn. You know in and like, even with my husband too, knowing how to ask him for help, and watching him learn about how to support me. um and but also, like, it was great being able to reach out, and to be myself, and to have a community around me. I just remember being so grateful that, like, I've like, going through Facebook and unfollowing people who are negative, and sort of building around positive people in my life, in life, but especially during the time of COVID. Social media that's my social life. um you know and posting on social media, and sharing with friends, like Jarreau also, um and friends who are close, and and knowing that they're going to respond kindly. And but I was still surprised when I posted, because I know Jarreau is going to be kind, but posting on social media, um and seeing the response there as well, where so many were just kind, and sympathetic, and understanding, and not judging in any sort of way. I didn't receive a single judgmental comment. I mean, that that is really quite beautiful. And sorry, Ezra's moving, so I'm dusting him. But but and I also, because people did that, I reached out. I did message a few of them who had said that they went through it, and I found that incredibly healing as well, because I was able to talk to them, and talk about things that I'd never been through before, emotions that I've never felt before, things that I've never thought, and trying to just wrap my head around it, because I did have a lot of faith, but there was a lot of questions that I had for God. And it was great that I could be open about that with people who understood and who had been through it. And yeah, I was also in therapy. That helped me too. So there was so many things. I know that was a lot longer of an answer than you probably expected, but really, that's the thing though, is when go through things, that the more there's so many factors in what helps me feel better, and it's like that with the baby. Having a baby is hard too, and I've discovered that I've received help from multiple sources in that area as well. So very, very grateful for that. Very grateful. Thanks for asking.
Okay. What would you say is the song's its application or its message for people who have been through like other kinds of struggles? Because obviously not everyone will have been through what the two of you have been through.
I mean, ultimately, it's just giving people that sliver of hope that nothing is ever final. Like any failure you've endured is not the final failure. Meaning, and also just reminding you that whether we know it or not, there's somebody out there who has enough faith in you to kind of want to help you get that jump start to wherever it is that you want to go. So, as I was saying, we have, people reach out to us who have been through a divorce, people who had, moved to new cities, or people who had, had to endure some type of a new relationship, or, maybe had kind of felt like they were on top of the world, and something happened and they feel like they're rock bottom, or especially something that Stephanie and I deal with. We talk a lot about mental health, and just how important and how vital that is to everyone. So yeah, it was just one of those things where we just wanted to remind people, like, hey, you have the power to change your situation. You have the power to do amazing things, even though things have not gone your way or the way that you want them to. And when you do those things, it's okay to call up someone, because 9 times out of 10, out of the 7 billion people on this planet, there's at least one person out there who is your biggest fan and believes that you can do whatever it is that you set out to do. So that was ultimately our message, or at least what I know I wanted to convey, with this song.
Yes.
Yes.
Moving on. Next question.
Right.
I want to ask about the music behind the song. Now, you two have different styles, so how did those two styles kind of like mesh for this tune?
Well, like I remember, I felt like it was more towards Jarreau's style, and I was excited about that because, I've been experimenting with styles, and I've been doing that. And actually, I lied. My first official single release wasn't in 2014; it was 2016. So
if it helps, that's when I released my EP. So
Okay.
Okay, perfect. We're good.
Same page. It's fine.
Then it's like I feel like every release that I've done has been in a different style, and it's been really fun. So like when Jarreau, I'm like, cool, I get to do more of Jarreau's style of pop. So I was excited about that, and but what was cool was that we still kept a lot of like I just sort of laid down just piano, and I was not expecting to keep all the piano, and it stayed in the final production. I was like, that was still like very true to me because of the piano instrumentation. But like I said, I was excited to lean it more Jarreau's style. So that was
Which
fun.
is funny, because when I wrote the song, I was also thinking about Stephanie's style too.
Oh yeah, that's true. You were.
Because she has
Oh yeah, because you wrote it like Hero Side, and then we changed the melody, and that's true.
exactly, because and like what one of the cool patterns that Stephanie has is, like, she finds a way to make her songs almost like, I don't want to say every song is an anthem per se, but it kind of is, because it's like a call to action in some way. And I definitely wanted to capture that, especially like towards the end of the song, because whatever her theme is, she likes to pinpoint that theme multiple times throughout the song. So I definitely thought about that as I was writing, and I said, wow, okay, this would be cool. Because at first, when I wrote this for her, I had just planned to like hand it off to her. I wasn't planning to be on it at all. And then, we just we just decided like, we should both do this together. So with the instrumentation and everything, I definitely wanted Stephanie's experience as a pianist to be, an integral part of the track. And then it just, like I said, when we worked with our producer Devin of XL Recording, it just kind of molded into this like 90s like alternative R&B Moby sort of vibe with some of the effects and things we were putting on the track. And then obviously, I like to put like some harmonies, and I like to have some vocal effects on my records. And so
voice on there.
yeah, and so just to try to blend the two together. But I felt like it was one of those tracks where you can equally hear both of our influences on this one track, where sometimes if you're doing a feature with somebody, it's very like dominant towards one artist, and then the other artist may just come in and add their feel. But with this, like, it really did feel like it was a collaborative cohesion of what we were doing, of what we been influenced by.
Yeah, we really, or it was more like a 100-100. We really gave a lot. And then with the producer, he's worked with both of us extensively, and so he, we really were a great team working with him, because he worked with us individually, and so when we all came together, that was just magical. He had so many great things to add in the production that just took the song to a brand new, a next level. Like every time every time Jarreau and I got together, it's like, oh man, the song's really evolved. And then adding Devin to it, and every production session with Devin is like, whoa, this song just took a next level.
Yeah, really did. It really did.
Beautiful.
Now, was this your first time working with Devin?
No, yeah. So no, we've each worked with him individually.
Okay.
So because he produced Hero Side, he produced Blue Diamond Light, both the acoustic and full versions of both of those songs for me, and then he also produced another song that's going to be released next year. And so yeah, I'm dropping some hints.
Very subtle. I like that.
So Jarreau, he's done a bunch of tracks for you, right? Too.
Yeah, so Devin and I started working together in 2017, right after I had dropped my EP, and I was figuring out, okay, what's the next move for me musically? And I definitely wanted to, work with somebody that I knew I was going to have a great one-on-one relationship with, who I knew, we were going to be able to really lock in and spend time together on tracks, and also a producer who wouldn't be afraid to push back a little bit, because I think sometimes it's very easy for producers who are getting paid to just kind of hit play, and somebody says, this is what I want, and they're just like, okay, and just do it. And I know, me personally, to get the best out of my music, I want to be able to have somebody who's going to push back and say, hey, what if you tried this? Or hey, this might not work because of X, Y, and Z. And also somebody who just matches with us, like on an individual, on a personal level. And that's everything that Devin is.
Yeah, he checks all the boxes.
And I love him for that. And so, I know I'll be working with him for years to come. So
yeah, no, and Jarreau was the one who recommended him to me as well. So but yeah, he did that with starting over. He gave us, constructive criticism and did that. But he's also like, just like Jarreau and I are sensitive souls, he's one of them too. He's just wonderful person. So it was great.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is not the first time you've collaborated. Jarreau, we first saw you in the Hero Side video.
Yes.
But when did the talk of like working together first begin?
I mean, I feel like, well, when Stephanie and I met, it was like right before the pandemic, and I felt very early on that her and I had very similar points of view about how to approach music, and then our faith, was very important too, and that's our personalities. We're just very bubbly people that love to be around other people, and so I just knew like energy wise, this was somebody that I wanted to work with, and I just love her vulnerability. That's something that I really lean on more and more these days as an artist, is just being genuine and being open, and because I think in a social media world, so many people are building up these personas of themselves, and we're not really seeing the true stuff. We're only seeing the highlights. And Stephanie and I are both people that we have no shame in sharing when things are great, but also when things are not so great. But how do we turn those into positives? So we just knew, like, from early on when we worked, just helping each other out with music questions and things like that, that eventually we were going to want to work together on some things. And when she asked me to do the music video for Hero Side with her, I have an acting background as well. So for me, it was great because I was able to stretch those wings again. And it was just such a great song. Like I said, again, the message is just so deep and profound. It's something I could immediately grasp to. So I'm just so glad that we were able to make this work. And I mean, we've definitely talked about doing more stuff together too. So I'm just thankful that she's here and she is who she is.
Okay. I want to ask more about your acting background.
Yeah.
How'd you get into acting, and what have you done over the years?
Yeah, so I got into acting. First started out doing musicals in high school. Did, like, Guys and Dolls, and what else? Like Anything Goes. I was when I first I went to college at Virginia Tech, and got a theater degree, and so I was, all about going to Broadway. Like I was doing the New York auditions. I was doing all of that, and I was actually cast in Sheer Madness, which is a play up here at the Kennedy Center, and it's in Boston as well. Boston is actually where it started. So I was in that play for about a year. And I was doing like film, TV, all that kind of stuff, commercials, everything. And then, at some point, music had always been there. It was just one of those doors that stayed open, but I just said to myself, I said, with acting and music, whichever door opens the widest, that's the one I'm going to walk through. And, it just so happened that that's what music became. Music just kind of, that door just opened wider than acting did. And so I just, slowly started walking through that. But I also, like, I perform in all of, like, any music video that I do. I always like to give feedback to whoever I'm working with, because once you're an actor, you never look at movies the same. You never look at TV the same. You're breaking everything down and seeing how everything is done. And I wanted to make sure I put that into any project that I did. So yeah, that's just kind of, that's how all that came about. And I don't plan to quit acting at all, because I believe that doesn't have an expiration date. As we've seen, you can be 0 or 100 and be doing stuff. So yeah, and I still love it.
Cool. What would you say is your genre of choice?
Musically?
Acting wise.
That's a good question. I as much as I love horror movies, I probably wouldn't say that, because I would just, if I look at the script, I know I'm gonna die at some point in time. Um, Even though it's not a bad thing. Honestly, but I do love sci-fi. I will say that. I do love sci-fi stuff. Also like sports movies, because like I fell in love with the Mighty Ducks and like hockey and all that stuff at a very young age. So I loved all those sports movies. But my biggest dream, my biggest dream that I still hope to do one day, is I would love to do voiceover in a Disney or Pixar movie.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah, like that is still like a huge dream for me, because that's I used to watch Disney movies like repetitiously as a young kid. So yeah, I would say definitely like any type of adventure, like sci-fi, sort of thing. And even if it's a cartoon, even better, because then I can just play around and do different voices and stuff. So I would love that.
Oh,
Dude,
cool.
you're gonna be in a Disney movie together one day. The other day,
Yes, we're gonna
like,
write a Grammy Award-winning song for a Disney movie. Just
and sing it and do the voices on
you
it.
heard it here first.
It's happening. Disney, call these two right now.
Oh my God.
Make it happen.
Yep.
Oh, that is a really cool dream. I love that. I love that because you have such an amazing voice. I'm curious. Do you have like a range of like different kinds of voices you can do, or is that something that's a little more newer to you?
I do. My family gets on me a lot because I study everybody that I come into contact with. So sometimes I just like to pick up on certain inflections. And I think part of that is I was heavily influenced by Robin Williams and Jim Carrey growing up. And so they're the kings of that, right? It's like that's their bread and butter. And so, whether it's me doing this or, I'm just talking like, or I could be doing all this, blah, 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 blah. Like I could just go whole different ranges of things. And it depends on the situation and, the conversation. I like to consider myself a conversational comedian, not just stand up is a whole different beast. But yeah, I just love everything about art and just the arts in general. And it just brings out the best in me, and I think that's what I hope for anybody, I just want people to be doing things that bring out the best in them and then make them feel like they belong in this world, because I think that's the spot I was at, which was kind of like my starting over story in a way. Like I became a full-time musician in 2018. I was working a full-time corporate job and doing event planning and things like that. But I was good at it, but I just didn't feel like I was me, And so I just encourage anybody who's listening, whatever that is for you, just make the move to do it, because we only get one of these, unless you come back reincarnated as an animal or, as a beautiful baby boy, Ezra over there. We only get one of these. And so we got to make the most of it. And you should spend that time doing what you love, not what you feel like you have to do all the time, So, yeah.
Yep.
Dude, you're gonna make me cry.
No.
I mean,
No need for that.
like,
No
I feel
tearjerkers today.
a song right now because it was a lot to like. I remember having a first kid, and you guys know how much I love Natalie, and it was hard, and it was very scary to go into this again, the baby life and be, but it. So like I felt like oh, that applies to me as a mom too, like God.
Exactly.
Taking that risk, and doing that, and it's wonderful. So it's worth it. Whatever it is that you feel fulfilled to do, and it might be multiple things: music, family, whatever your pursuits are. Like I just love that you said that. So getting me worked up.
And never ever listen to the doubters. Never listen to the people who say, "Oh, it's not going to work out. It's too much of a risk. Stay with the safe zone." I mean, I remember you mentioned Jim Carrey, Jarreau, and he had a really good story about his dad. How his dad just stuck to to what he thought was the safe thing, and he lost his job. I think they wound up being like homeless or just about near there. And the thing that he took from that is, you can stay to what you may think is the safe route, but number one, there's no guarantee that you're actually going to be safe. And number two, you shouldn't give up on your dreams because of, the maybes and the risks and the chances. Like you said, take that chance. Whatever you want to do it. And if someone says, well, it's probably not going to work out, they'll say, you know what? I'll bet you $100 it will, and prove them wrong.
And not only that, but like, especially if that person is yourself. Sometimes you have to tell yourself to shut up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Famous for that.
Absolutely.
Jarreau knows.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes we can be our worst enemy, and that's the beauty of, like we were saying in the song, is starting over is hard. Like we acknowledge that from the jump, that it is a hard thing to do.
Yes.
But even though we say like I believe in you, we want people to also know that you have the power to believe in yourself.
Yes.
And this is something that I personally struggle with every day because we try to make sure that we're is the next song we put out going to be the hit? Is this next show, is somebody going to be there that could catapult us to a different level? But also just keeping in mind too, like, and somebody reminded me of this recently, like the fact that Stephanie and I and even you like we're doing something that we love right now in this moment, and that means that we're successful at doing what we want to do. Sometimes it's not making the hundreds and millions of dollars. Sometimes it's just the opportunity to be able to do it. And that's sometimes we lose perspective of that sometimes. Like I said, just being able to do what we're doing right now is a success, and we're gonna write more songs, and that's gonna be a success because we actually sat down and wrote it and put it out. So rather than, like you said, listening to the doubters, if I listened to the doubters, I'd have quit when I was 17. Like when I first got in professionally. So
Dude,
yeah.
I'm right there with you, man, because like one of the things that I do is I do voice work. I'm an audiobook narrator, but growing up, I had this crippling speech impediment that I still struggle with even to this day. So the fact that I got into this, and of course, doing other podcasts, my voice has to be good. So the fact that I'm doing this sometimes amazes me because past people have been like, nope, it's never going to happen. Your voice sucks. You can't even complete a sentence. Just forget about it. But, you put in the work to make it happen. And as long as you try, you can't regret that. You put in the effort.
That's all that matters. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Absolutely. We've talked about this here and there, and I want to bring us back to the big release of the music video, working with Jeffrey Perkins of J, Perk Productions. This is coming out on November 12th. Yes. What can people expect in this video?
Some really adorable pictures of me being super pregnant.
Facts.
And and also we have kind of a storyline of Jarreau as an athlete as well. So comparing sort of my journey through the miscarriage and pregnancy, as to like an athlete recovering from an injury, because it is similar, the trauma, the fact that you have to build up your own confidence again and things like that. So it adds an extra layer to the story.
Yeah, it was kind of neat doing it because when we were thinking through video ideas, obviously the biggest factor was going to be, Stephanie's story with her miscarriage and then obviously being pregnant again to then having the baby. But from my perspective, I was like, well, what am I going to harp on? And, as I was saying, I was really big into sports growing up. And, when I had some injuries and, things like that, I wasn't able to play like I wanted to. And it's funny because like even Stephanie didn't know how I used to play basketball.
Yeah, he's actually good. I was like, yeah, I used to play. And I'm like, okay, And then I actually see him shoot and I'm like, dang,
Look, it was a good day that day. I would just have to be making shots that day. It was, but I wanted to show that because that's one thing, that's a side of me that people don't know about. And I think with each video, I'm kind of starting to like peel back layers. And again, it was just, we wanted to have another scenario like you alluded to earlier for somebody who maybe hasn't gone through what Stephanie has gone through. Who else can see this video and relate to something in it? And me, like I said, me being very body conscious, it was definitely a challenge for me because you're seeing that. But I honestly did feel like doing this music video was kind of the start of my starting over story because I hadn't picked up a ball since like way before the pandemic started. And that was the first time me picking up a basketball and shooting in probably like 20 months or something like that. And so, you know, that was a huge moment for me specifically. And it's like all eyes are on you because the camera's on you. Stephanie's over there. Like we only had a couple hours to shoot all of this. So I had to try to do whatever I could. And I noticed, like I said, I'm just moving slower these days than I normally would. But it gave me the motivation that I needed for the video. And like I said, kind of like that actor subtext, you know. So yeah, people watching this video, I think anyone watching it can have a relation to it and draw from it. You know, like I said, just being on a comeback story, you know, from a time when you were really down, but then just taking the little baby steps forward until you finally get to that point where like, okay, you're gaining some momentum and I can do this. And so I really, with all the positive feedback we've gotten from just the song, I hope the music video will garner even more of that.
Yeah, I think the video is gonna get a wonderful response, just because there's so much heart put into it, and it's real, it's true story, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. Now, I've seen a few scenes from the video on both your Instagrams, but it seems like these are pretty big productions for you. What kind of work goes into just getting everything put together?
There's planning. The planning is I think the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because the thing about our videographer Jeffrey is he is just the most efficient man on this planet. I mean, he's, you know, we're in and out of that with all of the material that we've shot in just a couple hours. You know, what was it, 3 hours?
Yeah, it was 3 hour shoot, and we did 2 locations.
Yeah, we did 2 locations, photos. He's like even got some maternity photos for me thrown in there, and like and he puts it together so beautifully, and so he really alleviates a lot of the stress of production. That's why I love working with him. Especially as a mom, like, you know, I want to go back to my family, and he just makes it so easy. You just show up and he makes it, and he's also very encouraging as well. And especially working with Jarreau, who's an actor and has that experience. And that's why I liked having him with Hero Side too, because he was there encouraging me, you know, because I get a little nervous. But that's improved over, you know, every time I get a little bit less and less nervous. But it was a really great environment to work in. So I can't say that, you know, I mean, I think the hardest part of that shoot was climbing up that darned hill.
Yeah, Federal Hill in Baltimore is a hike. Like it's just a very steep hill. But when you get to the top, it's a great view of the inner harbor that we did capture. And I'm sure you've seen a couple of those photos too. But yeah, just what she was saying, planning is really the biggest part. I mean, just us getting together and saying, okay, what shots do we want to capture? You know, when we're working on this, you know, what are the images that we definitely want to have? And I think the coolest thing about shooting a music video too is having those shots in mind, but then also allowing yourself to kind of be surprised by what you run into when you arrive. So like, for instance, you'll see that in the video, there's a green sofa kind of, or an ottoman sort of looking thing that we had no idea we were going to have. And I just saw it and I was like, I want to use this. And so I laid on it, and it kind of, for me, it was a hint towards seeking therapy, like kind of like you laying on the couch and telling someone your problems, because, you know, that's a big thing with us. So there's that. But then also too, just, you know, finding the locations and, you know, mapping out how long it's going to take from spot to spot and how much time we have. And like she was saying, you know, Jeffrey's really efficient in that way, and he was also planning it with us every step of the way. And most importantly, Jeffrey is very similar, like we were talking about with Devin, where, we may have an idea and he may say, well, let's try this, or have you thought about doing this? He always adds to the production, and that's, all you can ask for when you work with, your team like that is, you don't just want to have yes people all the time. You want to have people who are, kind of see the vision like you do, or kind of see it in a different light that, they can give you an idea that you didn't even think of. And so, we love his work. We've worked with him multiple times. We referred him to a bunch of our other musician friends that he's worked with as well. And yeah, I'm really excited to show people this video. Not just for us, but also just for the people we work with too, because we want them to be seen, their work to be seen too.
I cannot wait to check it out, because I remember when the video for Hero Side debuted, I watched that. Thought, this is epic.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I always think about music videos in kind of short film form. Like it's
Yeah.
very similar to Michael Jackson in that way. So I just, I like to see music videos that have storylines. Even though the song is like 3.5 minutes long, you could leave that video feeling like, okay, I really got the story of what these people are about and what they want to convey. And like I said, it follows just like a story. Every cut, every shot, every image, like that's what we aim for. Even with a small budget, it's like there are things you can achieve with a very, tight budget. It's just all in how you map it out. So yeah, we're really excited about it.
Exactly. All right. Well, this next question is one I have not asked for a while, but I like that I could be able to ask for it. What is next for you? Shows, gigs?
Stephanie, do you want to start? Because you're holding kind of what's next.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm so busy. But I have an EP planned for next year. It's just I'm waiting for some good songs to come. I do have some that are written, one that's already recorded that's gonna be there, and it's gonna be, my plan and hope is for it to be an acoustic EP, like just piano and me, because I've really enjoyed the acoustic versions of the songs that I've done, and it's low budget, but it's still really true to me, and so I'm hoping to do that, but I'm being very patient with myself, and especially because baby, and also I'm focusing a lot on my violin performances. The business is going really well, and so I am just loving it and continuing with that. And so, that's why I was so excited about this release, because Jarreau made it easy. We took it real easy, didn't put any pressure on ourselves, and but I was still able to put out this big release, and then close out the year with that. But been hoping for an EP next year, and just like I said, violin performances, and hopefully get some writing done. Yeah, with Natalie inspired a lot of music when she was little, because I was just home hanging out with her and experiencing life, and she inspired a lot of music, and so and inspired me to publish it. And so, I'm hoping that Ezra will do the same. So, what about you, Jarreau?
Yeah, so I've been really busy in terms of the wedding bands, like wedding party bands and all that stuff, with wedding season and everything. So that's been back in full swing. So that's been great. I was just out in California recently for a wedding out there, and I've been doing a lot of traveling, which is amazing. And right now I've got about 5 or 6 songs that are done. So gearing up for a very crucial 2022, as I would like to say. Still debating if it's going to be EP or if it's going to be full album that's going to drop in 2022, but definitely that will be happening. And I'm very, very excited about that, because this music is definitely, it's honestly some of the best music that I've ever done. And so I'm just really excited about that. And then just like still playing around the DC area, Like a couple, I do like churches. I do, also some like overdub projects for like a fitness app and things like that, which is pretty cool. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are coming down the pipeline that I'm really excited about, and hopefully, as 2022 carries on, I'll be doing more of my original music in some of the local venues, and with the goal of touring one day. So we'll see what God puts on the plate.
There we go. All right.
For you.
All right. Well, I am definitely looking forward to what comes next. New music is always a good sign. But where do folks go to learn more about you and check out your work?
Instagram is where I'm at. Stephanie Mathias Music, and I am Jarreau Williams, right?
Yes, you can go. I am Jarreau Williams on Facebook, Instagram, Jarreau Williams on Twitter, or you can go to www.jarreauwilliams.com for all of those things in one complete package. So. And definitely, like we both of us have mailing lists as well, that we like to, for people who are really, intent on knowing where we're going to be next, things like that. So we always encourage people to join our mailing list. I give discounts on merch there. I send songs out early there. So anybody who's on that mailing list kind of feels like they get like an exclusive, exclusive peek into what I'm working on. So I highly encourage anybody who's interested to, go to my website and then subscribe to my mailing list.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Well,
my list is much more neglected at current.
Well, rightfully so. You got other priorities right
You got reasons.
When you do.
But in a little while, that'll be the place to go to.
Very cool. All right. Well, Stephanie, Jarreau, this has been an absolute blast. Of course, folks, if you haven't checked it out, go do so now. Starting over on Spotify, all your various platforms. Buy the song, of course. Support the artists. And November 12th, music video drops. And, of course, we'll all be talking about that, I'm sure.
Thanks so much, Max. It's always a pleasure to chat with you.
You're very welcome.
Hi, this is singer Kate Eppers, and you're listening to Citywide Blackout.
Okay, everyone, that brings this episode to a close. Big thanks to Stephanie and Jarreau for joining me. And if you haven't already, now you know, check out Starting Over, available on all streaming platforms, and November 12th is the big day when the music video drops. Definitely find that one. You are going to love it. In the meantime, you can follow this show on Facebook under Citywide Blackout and Twitter and Instagram under Citywide Max. Get at me at citywidemax@yahoo.com and check the show out wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as every Saturday at 10 p.m. on Boston Free Radio. To close things out, I've got the new single Starting Over for you. I absolutely love this song. It really got to me because I've also been at that point where I've had to basically start my whole life over again, so it really connected with me.
Starting over can be hard to do, but you should know I believe in you.
My journey has been rough. Wounds may heal, but there's still cuts.
You have grown to be so tough. Above it all, you got guts.
So much pain behind my eyes. Trying so hard not to cry.
You are building up your strength. I'm always here at arm's length, taking a chance
everything I built. I'm watching it all crumble, hit below the belt. How do I start over when there's no going back?
Just take a leap of faith, unless you stumble. Stumble. Standing by your side as you get back on track. Ooh.
Taking a chance is the difficult part. Gotta dig deep inside your heart.
Yeah. Starting over can be hard to do, but you should know I